If there are only three things that are important and matter in life, it's definitely happiness, well-being of your loved ones, and hard-hitting kick and 808. In this video, I will show you how to achieve the first two. First, make sure to take care of yourself. Eat vegetables, meditate, drink a lot of water. If you can't help yourself, you cannot help the others. Second, put your kick on an empty mixer channel and read the current reading. So it hits about -3. Now, do the same thing on your 808. So we are hitting at about 9. And now ideally, people say to go about -3 dB on your 808 under your kick. But the thing is here, if we put it up, as we should do, to keep it -3 under the kick, we aim for about 6 because we had -3 on the kick. However, if for example your 808 sample is distorted way more than mine, you might have lower reading on your current channel because it just gets squashed much more, but it sounds louder. And if you got the balance right, you're practically halfway there. And to balance your kick and 808, just use your ears. Thanks for watching. Okay, you can actually use one tool that's very handy if you cannot still tell if your kick and 808 are balanced. Put some loudness meter on your current channel. Yulin loudness meter is perfect one in that case. If you don't know, current mixer channel will read or apply effects only on the channel that you have already marked with your cursor like this. So let's see how loud our 808 is. It's about -21, and our kick is about -16.5. So now with our 808, we can aim for about -19. Something like this. You can also use VU meter for that. I just find this technique to be very beginner friendly and easily accessible if you really don't want to use your ears. Next, depending on what sample you chose for your 808, you might choose to sidechain kick to your 808 or not, unless you have a weak kick that is not supposed to cut through your mix.
But Max, I've heard I should not sidechain kick to my 808.
Well, people say different stuff and I get it. However, the person that said it might refer to the classic sidechain technique, and unless you want your kick to be pumping and cutting through, overpowering everything in your mix, I suggest not using the classical sidechain technique you should be using on different elements. So what's the issue if we don't sidechain it? One of two things are highly likely to happen: phasing and distortion on your master. Low end is extremely vulnerable, and if you watch our online courses, you know the low end controlling technique by applying harsh low cut on your master like this. So you just hear only the very, very low end, and apply any oscilloscope to just monitor what's happening in the low end. So this shape here is not ideal. It's a little bit too empowering, and if you just put it on your master, because the low end is so powerful, it will cause a lot of distortion in your mix, and even if you cut everything under 30 Hz, that won't help. And phasing issue would be if we see that instead of kick, we have some groove basically. So there's a very easy fix around that. There are two ways of doing that. One is advanced and fancy, and second is nice and easy. The first fancy way of doing that would be applying Fruity Peak Controller on your mix and then applying EQ on your 808 and linking this band here to controller, finding the peak controller peak and inverting the mapping formula. You increase the bass here, and that way nothing audibly changes, but you will have much more space in your mix. Look at this. You can see that we are doing it even too long, so we can increase the decay. See, we don't want this groove here. We make it work a little bit shorter. Of course, it's not ideal yet, but we'll get into it. You can see it's much cleaner already. So that's one way, but the second way, better one, I would say. And whatever is easier for you when you're producing music, just do it. So just sidechain your kick to your 808 channel like this, and open our free patcher preset pack and load multiband sidechain preset on top of your 808 channel. Everything is linked already, and you just need to increase the low knob. You can see it even here. If I go down, so it looks like this, and after, I just need to find the perfect length, basically. You can also make it DAC full volume in one click if you like. to make the kick overpower the 808. Now, this is our free version of our Patcher preset pack, and if you want the full version of the pack with many more presets like this, check the links in the description below. Now that's how our low end looks like. It's maybe a little bit too quick. We can decrease it a little bit. You can always change the settings here and play with it yourself to get the perfect settings. Almost perfect. You can see a little bit of the phasing issue here, but we can work with that definitely. After that, probably most important part, your low end doesn't like high dynamic range. And low dynamic range makes so-called this glued together effect that you might have heard about already. One way of taking care of this issue is in the mastering stage, but I'm a huge fan of perfecting your mix and in the mastering stage only just polishing the mix. We go around it a lot in our mixing and mastering courses bundle. If you want to support the channel and get access to some premium stuff, make sure to check it out. But one way of doing that would be making a group out of our kick and 808. We just hover our mouse holding control, and holding control, click on the arrow here on another insert and make 808 and kick group. And we apply saturation or distortion on top of it. I lately like the free one from Softube a lot. And look what happens in our low-end oscilloscope. It's perfect. So saturation here takes care of two very important things. First being, of course, the lowering the dynamic range, so it basically compressed it, and then it adds the same color to our kick and bass. It's like an Instagram filter on top of your kick and 808. You just blend them together. It's like you want to Photoshop somebody into an image. You need to adjust levels, white balance, curves, and stuff like this. And that's exactly what we do with saturation knob. And after that, on our kick and 808 channel, we can also add a little bit of the compression to boost the effect up, especially if your saturation plugin didn't add compression. For example, Wave Shaper here. We don't get too much compression with Wave Shaper. And that's why if you're using it, you should definitely consider adding some compression on top of your 808 and kick channel. So we don't want to overdo it. You need to also listen to your track, how it sounds together, or you could also use Maximus in the low end here and do it like this. However, I do leave this technique on my master, so it's not like you have to compress your 808 and kick group. It's just that if you do it, then you don't have to really do it on your master. And whether you want to do it now or later, or not at all, it's alright. Another thing is that different notes played by your bass, especially sub bass, will have different perceived loudnesses. It's more necessary in EDM rather than trap and hip hop where you use 808s, because you might want your 808 to hit different loudnesses throughout your track. So just to show you, you would limit your bass like this. For example, here, this is much louder than this. And in that case, I wanted my 808 to hit a little bit louder. That's why I didn't want to limit it afterwards, because why would I make it louder at the first place, right? So let your whole sub pattern play and just aim for the quietest note and make sure it just barely touches the peak. And that's exactly how you achieve happiness in life. If you are serious about music production, check the links in the description. We've got full bundle where you get access to all of our products, plus 40% discount on every next product we release, which is insane by itself. If you like what we are posting on this channel, you are definitely going to like what's inside of this bundle. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, comment your next topic idea, and subscribe to not miss out the next content. See you in the next video.